learners, I am here again, Teacher Arlene, to bring you another lesson in Mathematics 8. Today, I will teach you identifying hypothesis and conclusion of if-then statement in Grade 8 Mathematics Quarter 2. Are you ready to learn? Let's start! Mathematics 8 Quarter 2 Week 6. There are two MELF in Mathematics 8 for Week 6, determining the relationship between the hypothesis and the conclusion of an if-then statement and transforming a statement into an equivalent if-then statement. The objectives are, we will define hypothesis and conclusion, identifying hypothesis and conclusion in a conditional statement, and we will determine the relationship between hypothesis and conclusion of an if-then statement. Conditional statement. A conditional statement is a compound statement of the form if P then Q, where P and Q are statement. When we say compound statement, pinagsamang statement where P and P then Q, there are two statements. Therefore, they are called conditional statements. The first statement, P, is called the hypothesis. Ito po siya. And usually begin with F. While the second statement is Q, which usually begins with then is called the conclusion. Ito po naman siya. Then Q. So, madalas po, ang first statement ay laging nasusundan ng if. Then the second statement naman is then. Ito naman po siya. Yun naman po yung palatandaan din. Conditional statement, if the statement is called hypothesis or P. Then statement called conclusion for Q. So, kung makikita nyo po, nakaline po siya, hindi kasama sa hypothesis si if. Ibig sabihin, yung statement lang na after ng if, yun yung tinatawag nating hypothesis. And also, the then statement, hindi rin kasama ang then. Yung statement mismo lamang po ang ating conclusion or Q. Let us identify the hypothesis. Is a tentative assumption made in order to draw out and test its logical or empirical consequences. Ano po ba ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin po, ito yung mga bagay na pwede nating i-draw out, tatanungin. Hypothesis, ibig sabihin siya yung sinusundan din ng when, if or when. Ito naman si conclusion, is the necessary consequence of one or more proposition takes as premises. Ibig sabihin naman po, ito naman yung resulta. Kumbaga, ito yung idea natin. Ano ba yung magiging idea natin dito sa hypothesis? Kaya dapat po, tandaan natin. Now, let's proceed to identifying hypothesis and conclusion. Example number 1. If a number is greater than 0, then the number is positive. Our hypothesis is a number is greater than 0. Dahil nandito po yung salitang if. And also, our conclusion is then, after and then, the number is positive. Therefore, hypothesis, the number is greater than 0, and the conclusion is the number is positive. Madali lang naman po siya tandaan. For number 2 statement, if the base angles of a triangle are equal, then the triangle is isosceles. Our hypothesis is the base angle of triangle are equal. And our conclusion, the triangle is isosceles dahil po sa salitang then. Napakalinaw naman. Therefore, our hypothesis, the base angle of triangle are equal, and the conclusion, the triangle is isosceles. For number 3, our hypothesis is 9 times n plus 1. And our hypothesis is n is equal to. In if 9 times n plus 1 is equal 10, then n is equal 9. Therefore, hypothesis is 9 times n plus 1 is equal 10. And our conclusion is n is equal 1. So, kapag may if and then, madali natin ma-identify ang hypothesis and conclusion. Paano kapag wala? Hindi natin makikita yung if and then. So, dapat alam din natin kung ano yung matutukoy natin. For number 4, getting enough sleep is good to your health. So, ano yung ating hypothesis dyan? Getting enough sleep. And our conclusion is good to your health. So, kung meron tayong sapat na tulog, ang resulta niya, meron tayong mainam na kalusugan. Therefore, our hypothesis is getting enough sleep. Our conclusion is good to your health. Okay. Kaya ma'am, kung magtatanong bakit wala yung is, this time pwede tayong mag-rephrase ng mga sentence or statement to make them right, to correct the statement. Hindi naman totally mababago lahat. May mag-change lang tayo ng konti. Hindi pa rin naman mawawala yung diwa ng statement na given. For number 5, an integer that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 is an even number. Our hypothesis is an integer that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And our conclusion is an even number. Therefore, our hypothesis, an integer that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And our conclusion, it is an even number. Makikita nyo dito, nilagyan natin ng it. Pero wala namang it dito sa original given natin, original statement. Hindi siya mabubuo yung statement kung hindi magagamitan ng salitang it. Pwede tayo magdagdag, like running, it, their, they. Next, for number 6, all prime numbers are numbers with no other factor aside from 1 and itself. So our hypothesis are numbers with no other factor aside from 1 and itself. And our conclusion is all prime numbers. Nasanay tayo na lagi nasa unahan yung karang nating example ay nauuna lagi yung hypothesis. Hindi pala palaging ganun. So, dapat marunong din tayong mag-identify talaga kung ano yung hypothesis at conclusion sa statement. Like this. So, all prime numbers are numbers with no other factor aside from 1 and itself. So, tinutukoy dito sa hypothesis, number with no other factor aside from 1 and itself. So, siya yung hypothesis. So, ang idea natin nun, ano tawag sa kanya? And that's all prime numbers. Therefore, our hypothesis, numbers with no other factor aside from 1 and itself, and our conclusion, it is a prime number. So, huwag tayong padadala na laging nasa unahan ang hypothesis. So, meron din palang conclusion na nauuna sa statement. For number 7, statement. You have a fever if your body temperature is above 37.7. So, alin kaya ang ating hypothesis dyan? Ayan po. Your body temperature is above 37.7. Bakit po? May clue na po siya. Yan if. So, ibig sabihin siya yung hypothesis natin. And our conclusion is, you have a fever. Siyempre, kung ikaw ay may lagnat, kung ang body temperature natin ay nasa 37.7, anong idea mo? May sakit o may lagnat tayo or may sakit, may karamdaman. Okay, our hypothesis, your body temperature is above 37.7. Kung may magano, ba't hindi kasama si if? If is palatandaan lang po ng ating hypothesis para maitukoy natin siya yung hypothesis. And conclusion, you have a fever. For number 8, you will accomplish your goal if you do your best. Ayan. So, our hypothesis, you will do your best dahil dun sa salitang if, ba? And our conclusion, you will accomplish your goal. So, hypothesis, you will do your best. And conclusion, you will accomplish your goal. For number 9, collinear points are points that lie on the same line. So, our hypothesis, are point that lie on the same line. Kasi tinutukoy dito, mga point na naglay sa iisang o sa parehas na linya. Ano tawag natin doon? So, siya yung ating conclusion, collinear point. Therefore, our hypotheses are point that lie on the same line. Our conclusion, they are collinear. Kung mapapansin niyo po, hypothesis, hindi na sinama yung R. Kasi meron yung points natin, pwede na natin gamitin as plural kasi may S na po siya. So, hindi na po need sulat yung R. Kasi wala namang sentence na nagsisimula sa R. Kung tatanong, pwede. Kaya dito, hypothesis, hindi naman po need yung R. And conclusion, kung mapapansin natin, collinear points. So, nawala yung point, diba? They are collinear. So, yung points na pwedeng plural, so, pinalitan siya ng pronoun na they. Ibig sabihin, plural din po siya. So, be careful din sa paggamit ng mga word or pronoun na gagamitin natin sa hypothesis at conclusion. Hindi naman po mahirap gumamit ng dahil hindi naman mahaba yung papalitan. So, mga noun lang naman po yung pinapalitan natin. I-change natin at pronoun. So, dapat po tandaan natin pa rin yung hypothesis at conclusion, which is P as hypothesis and Q as conclusion. Now, let us assess what you have learned today. So, again, underline once the hypothesis. Ibig sabihin, guhitan daw ng isang beses ang hypothesis. And underline the conclusion twice. Guhitan naman po ng 2 beses ang conclusion natin. Ayan. So, I'll give you time to answer this. Okay. So, number 1, eating a balanced diet makes you healthy. Number 2, if an obtuse angle is bisected when 2 acute angles are obtained. Number 3, if 2k is an even integer, then 2k plus 1 is an odd integer. Number 4, you will pass the test if you study hard. And last, point AB and C are collinear if AB plus BC is equal AC. And that is our answer. So number 1, eating balanced diet is our hypothesis. Then the conclusions make you healthy. Number 2, our hypothesis is an obtuse angle is bisected. Ganun po kasi Siyempre, obviously, the conclusion is 2 acute angles are obtained. For number 3, obviously, F is our hypothesis. 2k is an even integers. Then, our conclusion, 2k plus 1 is an odd integer. For number 4, our hypothesis is you will study hard. Dahil nandun yung salitang if, di ba? So, huwag tayo palilito. Then, our conclusion, you will pass the test. And the last, our hypothesis is AB plus BC is equal AC. Dahil nandun yung salitang if. Yung hint yan. And our conclusion is point AB and C are collinear. Kung kayo ay tama lahat, I'll give you 3 claps. Very good. Okay, let us assess again. Write a conditional statement that each Venn diagram illustrates. So, Venn diagram, meron siyang pinagsama. Ayan. Whole numbers nasa square, and yung nasa circle naman is positive integers. The second one is, nasa inside naman niya si quadrilateral, sa circle naman ay si square. So, how to write a conditional statement that each Venn diagram? Okay, if your answer, if a number is positive integer, then it is a whole number. So, look at this, positive integer. Ating hypothesis. And our conclusion, it is a whole number. Second is, if the figure is a square, then it is a quadrilateral. So when we say figure, pwede namang wala din figure, or if the shape is a square, pwede namang palitan natin figure as shape, pwede rin naman po. Kasi shape din naman nakikita natin sa Venn diagram. So if the figure is a square, then it is a quadrilateral. Okay. Okay, that's all. Thank you. And that would be all. I hope you enjoy watching and learning with me. Bye!